What is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another Pete Nintendo Switch and gaming news video. Today we have some awesome information for you guys, some rumor here and there, some potential acquisitions, all sorts of stuff, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So there is a rumor that David Wise is working on something at Retro Studios. So shout out to Nintendo Everything for the article and the roundup of information. Could David Wise be working on something at Retro Studios? That's the latest rumor going around. Last February, EVB, otherwise known as Evil Boris, said that, quote, Retro are definitely working on something Donkey Kong related. He added that it could be a while before we saw anything from that. When someone praised Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, he also responded with, funny you should say that. It was nearly a year later, but Nintendo announced Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Switch earlier this month. While some could claim that it would be easy to guess that a port would happen, Evil Boris may have some inside information. That brings us to the latest development. Earlier today, Evil Boris claimed that David Wise is involved with some sort of Retro Studios project. Quote, I spoke with David a few months ago, and he said he was in Texas working for Nintendo. So unless Retro are doing a new IP with David Wise music, he's doing DK. Now, assuming this is true, Wise could be contributing to some new music for the Switch version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. He worked on the original Wii U game After All, or something else. We'll have to wait and see until this speculation clears itself out, and this is just all speculation at this point. And I would have to say I want to add a couple things to this. So even if David Wise was going back to Nintendo to work on some stuff, it could be some new tracks for the Funky Kong. You know, the Funky Kong, the man is coming to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, so maybe he gets his own theme during certain things. So that could be what it was or is at this point. On top of that, we don't know if Retro Studios, in terms of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, if they're working on the port of that game. So I think Evil Boris already just kind of assumed that it was Retro Studios, but if you go on the actual page for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch, when it comes to the official Nintendo.com page, it doesn't say that Retro Studios is the developer. So chances are this was actually farmed out to a port studio or done somewhere else and didn't involve Retro Studios. So he may have just kind of thrown up a little bit of a guess there when it comes to things. So I'm not going to 100% buy into this at this point. I don't think that we know all the details or anything, but we'll just have to wait and see what is Retro Studios working on. And that's the biggest thing here. I think a lot of people would be upset again if it was another Donkey Kong title, if they were to bring that out, but I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be happy with that, because I feel that the dynamics of when Retro Studios announced Donkey Kong is completely different at this point than when it was back then. We'd been getting a ton of 2D platformers at that point. There had already been multiple ones already released. New Super Mario Bros. Launched with the system. There were other 2D platforms Nintendo's done, just platformers in general, and people were just looking for Retro to do something different, like Metroid or something like that. And when we didn't get Metroid and we got another Donkey Kong, and then they waited till the Game Awards, that was completely different, and it just kind of shattered, I think, some of the hype and dynamics for that game, because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a fantastic game, but I just don't feel that it sold, nor did it right up to the level of quality that it was. It should have been a 90+ rated game, and I think people held certain things against that game because of the state of the Wii U, because of the state of how it was announced and things like that, and also the difficulty as well. So I do feel that going forward, if they were to announce a new Donkey Kong game and it looked amazing, the graphics were great on the Nintendo Switch, that would have far less backlash than what Tropical Freeze got when it was first announced. Because I know some of you guys are newer to the Nintendo sphere and maybe don't remember what happened, but even though the quality of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is super high, some people rate it as the best 2D platformer of all time, or one of the best 2D platformers, people are really just crapping all over that game before it came out. It was pretty bad, guys. Although, like I said, when it reviewed okay, but I felt that it should have been a 90+ rated game. It was really good, and it's like in the lower 80s or something like that. So I do feel that there were some other outside circumstances for that title, but I think it'd be different this time. But like I said, I don't think, personally, my own thoughts, I don't think Retro is working on Donkey Kong. I think it's a completely different type of game, different style, but that's just my opinion on the matter. What do you guys think about David Wise potentially working with Retro, or potentially working with Nintendo again on a new title? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the next article here, it appears there is a rumor rumor going around that Microsoft is looking into acquiring Electronic Arts, EA. Yes, that's EA. Madden, FIFA, Star Wars, all that stuff. Yes, it looks like Microsoft is looking into it. Now, this is still a rumor. This is not fact. We don't have any concrete sources, and this is a report from Polygon when it comes to things, and looking into something doesn't mean that it's going to happen. That's the biggest thing. People are already kind of jumping to conclusions and saying, well, Microsoft doesn't have any IPs, so yeah, this is definitely going to happen, and that is not the case. And people are already saying, oh, well, Microsoft can afford it. That's not the point. Of course Microsoft can afford it. Amazon can afford buying EA too, but Amazon's not buying EA. There's lots of companies that can afford to buy EA, or that are worth billions upon billions of dollars in the tech space and aren't going to buy EA. So just because somebody has the money to do something doesn't mean it will happen. So I do want to talk about this in terms of what Polygon had to say on the matter. So quote, this is exactly from the Polygon article in terms of the segment on Microsoft potentially acquiring EA. Some of the names being thrown around as possible acquisitions by Microsoft are frankly outstanding, even unthinkable, but the fact that they are doing the rounds instructive. The most recent one we heard from a reliable source close to Microsoft was, in fact, Electronic Arts. We also heard a whisper around Valve and about Korean outfit PUBG Corp, which Microsoft last year signed to a timed exclusive for its hit survival shooter PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Quote, because of where we are in the life cycle of all these things, I'm expecting to hear Microsoft announce something very, very shortly, said Van Drunen, and I probably said that name wrong, sorry about that. So yes, I do feel that Microsoft is looking to acquire studios, looking to acquire things, because one, Microsoft said that they are. So we do know that Microsoft already said that they're looking to acquire more studios. They're looking to kind of beef up their first party profile, and acquiring EA would get them reunited with BioWare, which BioWare did some of their best work under the Microsoft Game Studios label. But I will say this, just because you have the money to buy something doesn't mean that you will, and I feel that EA would be worth like a ton of money, or EA is worth, not even would be, is worth a lot of money, and that would be a ton of money to be giving just to acquire them. On top of acquiring them, paying all their bills, putting them all under your insurance, doing everything that you need to do to keep all of the studios and everything that EA has worldwide would be a big undertaking that would just layer cost on top of cost. And yes, you get a ton of IPs, right? You get Madden, you get FIFA, you get all of these things. However, would you still publish those on all the different systems? Like, the value of EA then kind of goes down just a bit, because all of the IPs that they own can no longer be published on the systems with the highest install base. So it can't be published on Nintendo systems, it can't be published on Sony system, unless Microsoft is willing to literally publish all of those IPs that they own now on all of those different systems. That could drastically cut the type of money and revenue that they bring in, because without the PlayStation 4, EA is not as valuable. That just goes hand in hand. EA is doing gangbusters on the PlayStation 4, and yes, that could bring a lot of people over to the Xbox, over to the PC, but there's just so many different factors to kind of go in here. Will they publish on there? Will they not? Microsoft has shown that they don't mind publishing on other systems. They've done it multiple times before. They've done it in the past, even before they acquired the Mojang for Minecraft, where they publish on all the different systems. But that's just Minecraft, and that's an established brand that's already been on multiple systems. I mean, it would just be weird for EA to acquire all them and then be like, okay, yeah, we're going to publish on all of it. Or maybe they pick and choose where they're going to publish. Like, okay, fine, we're going to make a new Dead Space game, but that's only going to be on PC and Xbox One. But then we're going to have Madden and FIFA. Yeah, that's going to be on everything. So they could do that route if this happened. But like I said, it would be tough for EA, or for Microsoft to acquire EA, I should say, just because of the amount of money and then the type of resource that you'd have to put in. I mean, that's pretty much the only acquisition you could do, and you'd have to pretty much just ride with EA in terms of your games. Obviously, that give you less money to do other things outside of that. And I know Microsoft is worth a ton of money, but everyone has budgets that they work in the confines in, and people have always brought up like Minecraft developer, and oh, they bought them for 2.5 billion, and yes, they did, but EA would be worth a lot more than that because of how many franchises they have. Heck, I think FIFA's a $1 billion franchise by itself, or near that, with all the microtransactions and DLCs that the fans of that franchise eat up every single day, just like ridiculous Ultimate team stuff. So I'm just kind of throwing my thoughts out there. I don't think it's likely. I think stuff like the PUBG developer or acquiring something smaller would be better fit for Microsoft, or something that's an individual studio that has a few different IPs would be better, or just outright money hiding certain things. But I know Microsoft wants to look forward towards the future, long-term investment, so they can have a stable flow of first-party games. But we'll have to wait and see on this one. So what do you guys think about the potential of Microsoft acquiring EA? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the final article here, Microsoft, speaking of acquisitions, has acquired live games platform provider PlayFab. So PlayFab platform to bolster Microsoft's Azure platform, so cloud computing technology and all of that, guys. So Microsoft has acquired PlayFab, a back-end platform provider of services to build, launch, and grow cloud-connected games. Now, the acquisition of PlayFab will complement Microsoft's own cloud platform, Microsoft Azure. PlayFab's back-end services are said to reduce the barriers to launch for game developers, offering both large and small studios cost-effective development solutions that scale with their games and help them engage, retain, and monetize players. It is said to enable use of the cloud to build and operate games, analyze gaming data, and improve overall gaming experiences. PlayFab currently powers more than 1,200 games with companies like Disney, Rovio, and Atari, including Idle Miner Tycoon, Angry Birds Seasons, and Roller Coaster Tycoon Touch, and is being treated as an important step forward for video games at Microsoft. And you can check out more information on PlayFab and the acquisition in the link in the description below. And I'll probably say this is a strategic kind of ploy for Microsoft, because they're going to be doing a lot of cloud stuff, right? They have the digital services that they're doing for the Game Pass, and then they also have a lot of games that are going to be powered by the cloud. Games like Crackdown, for example, are going to be using the cloud heavily. So I think that this acquisition could help out with the development of Crackdown and future projects, because Microsoft is really shooting hard for this cloud and this all digital future. I think they're really prepping for that, maybe even in the next generation or two. I would probably say definitely the next 2 generations, and we might see it by next generation, with giving a lot of incentives in order to go digital, in order to go cloud, over buying in brick and mortar stores. And Microsoft's just kind of like, well, yeah, we don't care about the brick and mortar stores as much, or we'll sell like little cloud-based cards or something, to where you can go into the stores and buy cloud currency for Microsoft services, and just like the digital points, the Xbox Live points and things like that. You don't know what they're going to do going forward, but I see Microsoft really just moving towards an all digital, all cloud-based platform at some point, to where you just kind of get stuff instantly. You kind of speed up the services in terms of downloading speeds, back-end services when it comes to their cloud platforms and cloud-based games. Just, it looks like they're really moving towards that. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm jumping off that cloud as fast as I can, because I don't want to go towards any of that. I know there's some people who like the convenience of it, but for me, I'm old school. I like to hold my games physical. I like to get the cartridges. Heck, I even like to drive to the store to pick it up and have it right then and there, to have it in my hands. And this is more for the new school of gamer who doesn't mind those things, who doesn't care about that, which is cool if you're one of those type of people. But for me, I need to have my physical games. I need to just have the physical object in my hand when it comes to video gaming, the box art and all that. So I need to see those things. So for me, I'm off the board when it comes to Microsoft and their cloud-based things and their cloud future and digital and game passes. Like, I'm completely off of that. But hey, anybody who's into that, more power to you. Have fun with it, and you're probably going to get some discounts because of it. So what do you guys think about Microsoft acquiring PlayFab in order to strengthen their cloud-based technology and platforms going forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs, in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube live gaming page. Consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.